Okay, I got some breaking news. Breaking news. This just came down the newswire. Well, it really came down 4 hours ago, but several reporters, several articles are suggesting that Kevin Durant met with the owner of the Brooklyn Nets and gave him an ultimatum. Either it's either him or the Brooklyn Nets GM, which is Sean Marks, the head coach, which is Steve Nash, excuse me, is either them or me. And the Brooklyn Nets owner is reevaluating and thinking. Translation: you can just you can just say goodbye to Steve Nash. You can say goodbye to Sean Marks, because if it's the star versus the GM versus the head coach, I can see if these two guys had a championship resume. I can see if these guys had the history of a Greg Popovich or a Pat Riley, but these guys are, still trying to get a title, get a championship with what they have with Brooklyn, where you have Kevin Durant, who has won multiple titles, well, two. And you also got Kyrie Irving. No matter what the owner feels about Kyrie Irving, at the end of the day, and Kyrie Irving's antics and things of that nature, at the end of the day, Kyrie Irving is a superstar who has won a title with LeBron James. And if you're choosing between the star players versus an unproven commodity, which is Sean Marks or Steve Nash. Steve Nash is like pretty much a coach in training. But if you listen to what Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving says, this team really doesn't need a coach. They can be the coaches. There have been several reports that suggested that when Steve Nash was done with practice, Kyrie Irving did a second practice. So when you got all that stuff going on, plus Kevin Durant is asking for wants a trade, and you're not getting what you want in a return of a trade of a Kevin Durant. And I've been fast on the trigger telling you guys, at the end of the day, I don't see Kevin Durant going anywhere. I think he's going to remain in Brooklyn. And my train of thought has not changed or unwaddled or anything. You had a lot of people on social media, including in YouTube, saying it's a foregone conclusion. Kevin Durant is gone. I did cover the topics of Kevin Durant, the possibilities of him going to the Boston Celtics, the possibilities of Kevin Durant going back to the Golden State Warriors. But I was pretty much the only one in this corner that Kevin Durant was not going anywhere. And with this newest tidbit of news, it solidifies the point that I always been saying, that Kevin Durant is not going anywhere. I feel like the owner of the Brooklyn Nets is going to get rid of Sean Marks, is going to get rid of Steve Nash, because it's easier to find a GM, a decent GM, and a decent coach. They're probably going to have an internal coach that's already in the organization. That's going to be the intermediate coach until they find an official head coach. But the Brooklyn Nets has enough talent right now to win a title. You got Kevin Durant, you got Kyrie Irving, who's going to be on his best behavior. You got a Ben Simmons that's going to be fully healthy, fully motivated. Okay, you already done signed all these other pieces in the offseason that makes this roster even better. All you need, and you heard it from the horse's mouth coming from Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, this team is good enough where we don't even need a coach. All right, I don't think it's on that type of level, but it's still a good team. It's still a good solid team, and you can find a coach already on your coaching staff. Okay? The GM, you can find a decent GM that's going to have a great relationship with Kevin Durant. And, who knows? Maybe down the road when the season is over, if they win a title, Kyrie Irving can get that max contract with Brooklyn instead of going into free agency. Obviously, you might want to put a damper on Kyrie Irving leaving the Brooklyn Nets, particularly if you get rid of Sean Marks and Steve Nash, okay? Because they were pretty much fast on the trigger talking about the possibility of, not signing Kyrie Irving. Fully expected Kyrie Irving was going to be traded. Now, when you get rid of Sean Marks, you get rid of Steve Nash, you just eliminated one side of the equation of can they coexist with Kyrie Irving. I think the owner has his concerns about Kyrie Irving, but at the end of the day, if it means that they have to, at the end of the year, max out Kyrie Irving, getting rid of your coach who was a coach in training, get rid of Sean Marks, who you have a business relationship with Sean Marks. If it equates to them winning a title, then that's what the ownership's going to do. Now, if they don't win a title, this is going to look bad on so many different levels, on so many different fronts of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And I still believe 30, 40 years from now, these two guys are going to be old men looking back going, man, what in the heck did we do with our prime years? And they squandered like 2 to 3 years of their prime years doing this tissy fight with Sean Marks and Steve Nash. But that's what's going on. Nothing has changed from my standpoint. I was fully committed in Kevin Durant was going to remain playing for the Brooklyn Nets. I was kind of skeptic of Kyrie Irving having a future with the Brooklyn Nets, but if they win a title, all this can be forgotten, all this can be forgiven, and all this can be changed. Oh, by the way, the NBA has a rule in place about the vaccine mandate, making it hard for players such as Kyrie Irving that want to take a sabbatical, and their reason is because they don't want to stick a needle in their arm. The NBA is on that front, solidifying that, cutting out all the loopholes. But hey, it is what it is. But I've been pretty much the only one in the room talking about I do not see Kevin Durant being traded anywhere. And we listed off the teams, and I told you guys what it would take and why it would not happen. But at the end of the day, I felt like Kevin Durant was going to be with the Brooklyn Nets. And if it means getting rid of Steve Nash and Sean Marks, so be it. It's not like these guys have a great track record when it comes to titles and building dynasties. Okay, if that's what it's going to take to keep Kevin Durant in your organization, and I've been telling you guys, I don't fully believe in Kevin Durant as far as him really putting pressure on them trading him. You could tell the Brooklyn Nets organization didn't want to trade him anyway. All right. So if that's what it means, getting rid of the coach, getting rid of GM, so be it. Okay. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Shouldn't be hard to think. Now you got a lot of people saying that, the owner's going to be stubborn headed. He's not going to pick the stars over Sean Marks and Steve Nash. They have done everything else. They pretty much have ran this organization anyway. So what's wrong with this request? Okay. And I'm talking about the stars. Okay. They did everything what Kevin Durant and Kyrie, what Kevin Durant wanted to do, and what Kevin Durant co-signed what Kyrie Irving wanted to do. So that's pretty much it. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Oh, by the way, there's not going to be a live stream of Just My Opinion podcast, episode 4. We're going to do that next week. All right, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.